So I want to take a moment and I want to speak to two different groups of people, and I want to ask you to see which one of these groups you feel that you best fit into. So here's the first group. You are the kind of person that looks into your health, that reads and studies and analyzes things, current information perhaps. And you are the kind of person that looks to take care of your health through your nutrition, possibly your exercise. You are the kind of person that's probably active. You're the kind of person that may have young children or teenagers, and you are the kind of person that wants them to be healthy rather than waiting until the last moment. This is the kind of person you may be, and this is the kind of person I am actually, wanting to prevent things. So I ask, is this the kind of person you are? So I have something I want to share with you. But first, we want to speak to the other group for a moment. Now, if this is the group you're in, you're the person unfortunately has already come to a point where things are breaking down, where you've been in a state of suffering perhaps, could be pain, could be something declining in your mental health. This is the kind of person you might be where you're saying, I don't know what to do. I've tried a lot of things. I'm coming to the end of my rope. You might be saying this. So I want to be delicate when I say this because my dad was there and I see people every day that are in this place. Is this where you are? So regardless of which group you feel that you're in, we have something for a person like you. And that is our NeuroPerformance Week. It's a time to immerse yourself. And you know, if you've ever immersed something into a liquid, something into water perhaps, it's completely saturated. It's soaked. In fact, when you lift it up, the water's draining out of it. Wouldn't that be great if we could do that with our health? Immerse ourselves for a week into a saturating environment that improves our brain's health, improves our body's health, improves our mechanical health. This is what our NeuroPerformance or Neurorehabilitation Week is for. It's also called an intensive week because it's exactly that. So whether you're in the first group, NeuroPerformance, wanting to improve the performance before things break down, wanting to sharpen your cognition, your body motion, even improve your functional metabolic capacity, that's the NeuroPerformance Week. It's also a Neurorehabilitation Week for patients who are already struggling, people who are suffering, people are looking for help maybe for their autistic child or for their teenager with ADHD or a mood disorder, or even themselves because their brain is starting to enter that early cognitive decline. Someone in my age group, 50 to 60, where I'm already noticing changes. So we can do work with both groups that really, in an immersive way, bring about substantial and measurable changes. And we love the measurable changes that you can see and experience and we can measure.
So I like to say that my husband works on the hardware and I work on the software. And what I mean by that is that I love to share stories or metaphors that help us understand what it is that we're really doing here. And one story that comes to mind actually is a story of our youngest son, Zach, who was actually 3 years old at the time. And I remember sitting at the kitchen table and I see him kind of coming back and forth, and I'm not sure what he's doing, but I wanted to sneak up on him just to see what was going on. And when I approached the bathroom, I see that he had turned on the faucet of the pedestal sink and he had put the stopper down, and now of course what do you think happened? All this water began to overflow and overflow and overflow onto the floor and into our bedroom. So I didn't want to alarm him, and I'm like, okay, we're going to take care of this. But what was interesting about what he was doing is that he was going in and out of our room and going to get towels and little t-shirts and anything that was absorbent to take care of the mess that he had just created. And so I thought this is such a great metaphor for the work that we're doing here and what ends up happening with our health. You know, our body has an incredible capacity to be able to deal with a lot of things. It can sustain injuries, it can sustain illnesses, it can do so much the way it's been designed to be able to do that. But at times, when there are situations in our health that are not cared for, not taken care of in enough time, there's going to be a spillover. And just like that pedestal basin, our body has only a certain amount of capacity. And so because it only has so much capacity, there's going to be an overflow eventually. When we think about health mysteries, we think, well, how is this related to this, or this aspect of my illness related to this part of my body? Well, that's exactly it. It's not because we think of it logically, but we have to think of it from a holistic perspective. The body works synergistically together, and of course, if there's going to be any kind of illness or injury or problems in the body that it can't handle, it's going to overflow someplace else. All right, so I hope you got an interesting chuckle about that story, but here's where I want to turn the corner on it a little bit more. The brain, as you know, is the epicenter of the body. It's the neurological center of the body. It's what controls everything in our body. And the brain has an enormous capacity to be able to do a lot of things as well. But after a bit of time, there's going to be an overflow, and there's going to be a challenge to the brain that it's not going to be able to continue doing what it was doing before. And one of the things that I like to say about this work that we have the privilege to do in the practice is that we get to take a look at what faucets have been turned on for way too long that's causing an overflow in the body. And then conversely, what faucets have not been turned on. So this work is as much about finding out what we need to turn off and then what we need to turn on in your health. So when we think about investing in our health in this level, it's important to consider the overall ripple effect. Right now, you're probably sitting and you're watching this and you realize the ripple effect negatively that their health concerns has been having. It's spilled over into your relationships, it's spilling over into your work life perhaps, and certainly your overall lifestyle, perhaps the things that you enjoy doing and the things you'd like to get to do. So what we like to say that investing in yourself at this immersive week, at these NeuroPerformance or neurorehabilitation weeks, it really is allowing you to have another kind of ripple effect. The kind of ripple effect that's going to be positive for your relationships and positive for your work life and positive for you to be able to go back to the things that you desire to do. So we have the privilege every day and every week to see patients coming into the practice that are exactly in that position, where before they couldn't imagine what they were going to do and how they were going to be able to function, to now being able to be restored, and they're letting us know that they're doing things they didn't know they were even able to do before.
So let me give you an idea of what that timeline of that NeuroPerformance Neuro Rehab Week looks like. So as you enter into South Florida, we're going to be performing diagnostic examinations. You'll spend several hours. And let me ask you, when's the last time you spent several hours with a physician analyzing your health, even prior to touching you with any type of therapy? So you'll enter in and you'll have several hours of diagnostic tests and evaluation face-to-face with doctors on our staff. And then Monday, we'll begin therapy with many of our patients, 2 or 3 times a day for many of our patients, to really generate the changes in the neuroplasticity, in their physiology that we desire to make changes in. You'll be taking care of that week. You'll be focusing on your health. There'll be face-to-face time, as I said, with doctors throughout the entire week, 15 to 18 hours you'll be with physicians and clinicians delivering healthcare at a very high level. You'll also get follow-up diagnostics, as I mentioned, measuring the changes. Where are you going? Are your results trending in an upward direction, which is always our goal. So this is a week of healing. It's a week of recovery. It's a week of intensive but relaxed therapy. And we find that it's very enjoyable for most of our patients. In addition to all that, we'll have some educational programs throughout the week, which will help ensure the results long-term for you. Because the more you can understand about what we're doing and about your health, for instance, the plasticity, the nutrigenomics, the more you can carry that out. And after the end of that intensive week, you're going to have a 90-day time frame where we'll be following up with you on a regular basis. This will help us to ensure your results, the plasticity changes, stay on track for a longer term.
You've heard from the doctor a lot of the details of what's going to happen during the neuro-intensive or NeuroPerformance week as you come in. And I just want to highlight that that week is going to be full of time face-to-face with the doctor and the practitioners, specifically on what's concerning you. And during that time, there's going to be follow-up diagnostics, as you know. So every time, every 3 or 4 sessions is going to be a follow-up way to find out how you're doing and how you're performing. And in addition to that, there's going to be educational components because we want you to be able to experience lasting change. We want to educate you on what to do while you're home and when you get back home to be able to continue the neuroplasticity that you've gained in the practice with us that week. So for the follow-up, we're going to be with you for 90 days. And in that 90-day period of time, we're going to be making sure that the at-home protocols that you've been sent home with are clear to you and you're able to adhere to them and follow them. For our adult patients, there's going to be an adult nutritional protocol that you'll go home with. where there's going to be some purification, there's going to be some other aspects to that to help enhance the work that's being done here metabolically. And as well for our pediatric patients will receive, a comparable program for them, so that if you're a parent bringing your child to us, whether your child's dealing with autism, ADHD, or anything else that brings you to our practice, there's going to be additional things that you can follow through at home to ensure lasting changes with your child.
This is an opportunity that comes around very infrequently, but when it does, we have 10 individuals that we can take in that week and focus our care precisely, thoroughly, and lovingly with them. So hopefully you'll find yourself as one of those 10 people, and we'll look forward to serving you during our NeuroPerformance Week.
So all in all, we want you to feel secure and confident in the fact that you will be cared for, not only during the time that you're with us in person, but also when you get home and you're ready to follow through on these protocols. Listen, they say that it takes 90 days for something to really sink in and to create a lasting change in something. So we want to utilize that time frame to ensure that you get the most out of the investment that you've made with us, and we're here to support you.